Hi, my name is Alessandro Gangelosi and that's a video tutorial coming from cgcookie.com for Max Cookie. Today we'll talk about a simple simulation done using particle flow, and we'll try to simulate a fluid, something similar to blood over a surface. So first of all, we create a surface, and we can use, for example, let's imagine a sphere, and maybe we can go at full screen. We can think to have the blood just over a part of the scene there, so we can use, for example, a noise texture to say where we have, or maybe we can use also a gradient ramp or a fall, oh sorry, not a fall off, but I'm talking about a gradient. Discard the old map, put this one, make it visible, and let's say that we have the radial one, and we have this map. As you see, we'll use a different area. Let's say that we have this one with no tiling. So let's see what we have. We have the map just there. So that's the one, and we say to scale this one, and we'll move it in this area. And we say that the object is black. Okay, so if we try to render again, we have just this area there, white. So we'll have the blood there. We can maybe move it a little bit up, and we can have also a little bit of noise just to have some irregularity. Okay, let's go. We can make not visible the map. Perfect. Then we can create a particle flow source, and we start we then need the rotation, the speed, and the shape. And we say that we need a position object. And the position object will be this one. Then we have to say to use the density by material. So we'll have the particles you see there, but we have to say that we have all the particles at the beginning. We can say to have 100% in viewport, and let's say that we have to delete if it's invalid the position, so you see that it's really clean. Let's use dots, and we can have a lot of particles. So you see there we'll have the blood. Okay, so then we like to have some blood falling down, so for sure we need a gravity, and then let's use particle flow source, and let's go there. Let's say that we like to track the update, so we have the amount of particles moving from one event to the other one. So now we like to have just some particles moving to the next event. And to do something like that, first of all, let's remove the nodes we are not using. So to do something like that, we can use the split amount. So let's put the split amount there. Let's move this one on this other part. and let's say that we like to have 10% of the particles, and let's use a display node to see it and to understand if we have, yes, we have the particles going to the other event. And let's say that we have still maybe a circle to see in a better way the particles. So it's maybe it's really too much, but let's say maybe to use a 5%. Okay, so we have 5% particles identified as the blood that must fall down. And let's say that we like to have the falling down at the beginning. So if we need this one, we don't need to check the particle age. We can use a force event, and adding by the list, we'll have the gravity. So what we have, gravity is really high. Let's try with 50%. I'm not seeing the particles, so maybe it's better to say that we have an age test just to have some frames before. So let's use an age test there, and the force will be there. So let's say that our particles are starting to fall down later. And let's try with a little bit more. Okay, you see that the particles are falling down. We can use maybe the same also there, but in this way we have more time to check it. So we have the gravity to make falling down the particles. Let's say again that we have the circle just to see it better, and then we'll use the speed by surface to fold the surface. So you can use every kind of mesh to do something like that. If we say to use the sphere, you see that the particles are going away. We have to say, first of all, to use the control of the speed continuously, because we have to check the speed every single amount of time. Let's say 5 centimeters, for example, and let's say maybe that we have a variation of 2 centimeters. Then we have to say to use not the surface normals, but to stay parallel to the surface. So you see that this is falling down in the right way. Let's go back, and the sphere is big, so we can use a higher speed, let's say 25, and a variation of 15. Okay, so you see that it is falling down in the right way. Let's go back to have dots and dots. So you see it is falling in this way. Then let's have more frames, maybe 300. So our particles are falling down, and then you see that we are still moving on the surface, and that's not right. So we like that after a while the blood will fall down in the right way. And to do something like that, we have just to say to particle flow, we can use an age test again, and we say that after a while, and we'll check which frame, we like to have a force and the force will be the gravity. So let's check. Okay, you see it is falling down after a while, but it is, first of all, it is too fast, so let's say 25. Okay, Perfect. And then let's say that the test value will be something like 75 or maybe 100, and the variation will be 40 frames. Okay, it's falling. We can use more. Let's go for 130. Okay. Perfect. Let's go there, and let's say that we have still dots. Okay. We can try maybe to stop some particles. To do something like that, you can download the particle flow freebies, or you can have it in the 3ds Max you have installed, and you can use the stop gradually. So we'll say to split the amount, so we'll use 50% particles, and we'll use a stop gradually. So let's move it here. Okay, and as particles are still dots, and we say that we are stop the particles at 70 with a variation of maybe 40 frames. So you see some particles are stopping, other particles are moving, and other particles are falling down. Perfect. So now what I like to do, I like to have a spawning over the particles that are falling down to see something over the surface. To do something like that, we have to use the spawning event, and we'll pick the spawn. Let's say that the spawning is by travel distance. Let's use for the moment 2 centimeters, and we'll say that we have maybe 25% of speed and error, and with a variation of 40% and maybe a variation of 5. Let's see what happened. Okay, we have too much particles, you see. So let's go back, and let's say that the travel distance is maybe 8 centimeters. So you see, in this way it is faster, but I like first of all to say that the divergence is 2, and we have to delete these particles. So let's move this one there, and we'll use a delete, and we are still talking about dots, and we'll delete it after let's say 30 frames. Okay, so you see it is faster. Perfect. So again, inside the particle view, we can use a lower step size, and we can give more life to the particles. Okay. Perfect. Let's change again there the spawning, because I think that we are talking about a more viscous fluid, so it is better to have a longer life. And we are talking about having the falling down there, so I like to have a spawning also there. Copy and paste. I'm using a paste and not an instance, just a copy, because maybe we have to change something. And we can say to have a delete, copy and paste, Okay, let's connect there. And we have this delete. Let's say maybe just after 35. Let's check. We have the falling down. And then we have the falling, and it is too long. So let's say maybe 7 with 3. And we are talking about dots. So you see it is falling down, and then we have something falling down also there. Okay, let's try to save the scene in the right folder there. And let's call it 3ds Max particles simple blood simulation. And then we can save it with the right name. Perfect. So we have it falling down, and we can have a little bit of wind to make some variation. Let's say not speed, so we'll use it just to have a noise. Let's say turbulence 0.5, maybe frequency, let's try 3, and let's try with 0.15 for the scale. Then back in particle flow, let's start to have it there. Let's say so force by list wind. Okay, it is too much. Let's say maybe 100. So let's see when it is falling down. Okay, you see we have a little bit of noise. Back again. And we can try to have maybe a little bit also there. So let's try to make a copy, and then we put it there, paste. Let's see if we have, okay, you see we have a little bit of chaos. Maybe there is too much. So back there, and on this wind, let's say 25%. Okay, just to have not so precise. Maybe we can add also a little bit on there. So paste, but we'll do a really low. Okay, so you see it's a little bit more chaotic. We have to do it higher because you see it is moving out of the, obviously out of the surface. So let's try just 5%. Really, really low. Okay. If you like to have more time to have the blood over the surface, you can use, for example, a drag, or you can delete later the blood using this area. You see we are using the delete there. You can use an higher age parameters, age value. So save. Let's try to do something to have at the beginning more particles. So we'll have 10,000. So you see we have a lot of blue there, and then for the splitting we try to have 1% or maybe 0.5%. let's see. Okay, you see just some part, and then it is falling down. So what I mean there is that if you like to have it there for more time, we have just to say there to die, for example, after 150. So we'll have it for more time, and we can use, for example, let's go for a drag, let's say 200. And again, inside the particle flow, we can have another force, and we can use the drag. Let's see. You see, it is more stable. Okay. I like to have a little bit more spawning there, so let's say 2 centimeters, and same there, 2 centimeters. So you see, it is more precise. But again, if you need to have it for more time, you can have for more time. So saving, and as you see, the simulation is done. We are using a really simple setup in particle flow, and it can be any kind of fluids, and that's really simple. What happened, for example, just to say how you can expand this tutorial. If you like to use a plugin as Frost, for example, so let's go there. Let's put Frost inside the scene. Let's have more space there, and the particle object will be this one. For the moment, let's say that the particles are more little, and then if we move, you see that we have the fluid falling down, and again you can use better quality. For example, that's the metables, that's the Turbulence, that's the anisotropic. That is for sure the best one. And I mean, if we go there and we say that the particles are not visible, let's say known, and you can use directly a known on the main event. So please remember to set again to visible. Maybe I can save the scene with it visible. So you see, we have the fluids falling down, and we are not doing nothing special in Frost, and that's really interesting, because you see, it seems really a fluids falling down. So I think that that's the best way to do it. I set again everything visible. I leave the frost inside the scene, so you can have the possibility to play with it if you like to do something more complex. My main focus was just to prepare the main setup so you can play with it. Okay, let's close and let's save, and you have it. So for the moment that's all, and I hope to see you back on Max Cookie to check for new tutorial coming from cgcookie.com. Bye.